there. It's Jenna.
Mark, or Mark and Jenna, as you see online.
Or Jenna and Mark. And we are from Marriage Exposed. And this is our YouTube channel. And we want to encourage you to like and subscribe. And go ahead and comment down below where you're from so that we can know. And it opens the algorithms for YouTube so that we can get more likes. And go ahead and share this video, but make sure you hit the subscribe button. And then in the subscribe, if you hit the bell and then hit all, then you'll be notified when we upload videos. So today we want to talk about something recently that we've been through, and it happened about 3 weeks ago. And I think what's important in this is that with everything going on in the economy and in the world, you know, there's so many marriages that are struggling right now. Don't you agree? Yeah. And you know, people are locked in together, and either
in some cases that causes issues, in others it's a really good thing.
Right.
Like for us, it's really good. We love being around each other, and we actually, having worked at children's homes and run our own business, we work much better when we're together all the time. But some couples, you guys tend to be like cats in a bag. But that's something we're trying to help with, because we really feel that marriage is about two best friends coming together and sharing life. And if that's not where you are, hopefully our videos and some of the things we've been through and some of our advice and some of our thoughts will help you get to that point. We are working on our 20th year together. Was it 17 going on 18 years married?
Something like that.
So yeah, it's been a while. It was 2021, and we were married in 2014. Yeah, so
no, we weren't married in 2014. It was like 2004.
2004, I mean. Yeah, 2004.
2004, 2008, I don't know.
It's that dyslexia sometimes slips in.
Right. It's been a long time since we were married, but we've been through a lot. And so one of the things that we want to talk about is some of the struggles that we're, you know, we have this great friendship, but life hits us out of nowhere. It hits all of us out of nowhere. And so how do we handle those struggles when the regular things of life hit? And right now, in the last year, there have been so many families and so many marriages that have been hit out of nowhere with regular life things, and some not regular life things. So we wanted to talk to you about that today, and just share our experience, and maybe that will help you. So do you want to say what happened a couple of weeks ago, darling?
Well, once again, got laid off. Company I work for, they had a large decrease in sales. And luckily I'm overhead. I did their payroll and a lot of other things for them. But of course, being in that mid-level management, they just had to make some changes, and company ended up having to lay off about 25 people. So it's tough. I mean, it's a good company. I've really enjoyed working for them. I've known a lot of the people who were in that company since I worked there 15 years ago. I've known some of the people before that. That's one of the reasons I got hired on, is they know me. But when you're down,
a great company.
When you're down, you know, they got to make their decisions. They got to make their cuts. So now, once again, we're trying to figure out what to do. But this time, you know, we're Christians. The last time we got laid off, we hadn't found Christ yet. And that was part of the reason we ended up finding Christ, is, you know, he kind of kicked us in the butt and made some changes in our lives. We lost a house that time. But we've got things better in line this time, and we're working out much better. And we're not sure where we're going from here, but, you know, we just keep an eye out for God's road signs and follow that. And that's what we're working on right now.
Right.
We both have books in us, and we're working on writing books. We want to be able to help as many couples as we can with the advice and the troubles we've been through, and
Right.
how we've gotten through them, how we've kept our marriage together.
Yeah.
And hopefully, with everything that going on with all these shutdowns and the economy tanking, we can help people. This life isn't about money, isn't about the type of car you drive, and about the type of house you live in, the neighborhood you are in. When it's all said and done, people will remember you and your family.
Right.
And your family will remember the time they spent together with you.
Yeah.
Not the kind of car you drove.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. It's about family, and that's the important thing. And I know you work your butt off to take care of your family, but you got to remember, when it comes down to it, company will let you go just as quick as they can if they need to, because there's always somebody else, or they can always downsize or upsize or whatever. But your family needs you, so always be there for your family, your wife, your kids. It's really important to make sure your priorities are right. Priorities should be God and family. And in family, it should be spouse and children. And
in
that's
that
just
order.
the way it is.
Yeah.
So.
And I apologize that I get this giggly thing. You keep fidgeting. You're bumping me and wiggling.
Like being in front of people. I'm one of those who just does not like being up in front of people, but I like putting my thoughts out. So this is cool. So I'm only sitting in front of, since we're looking at this on the camera, I see myself, my wife. That's it.
And
so
all of our kids.
It works. It's good.
Well, minus one that couldn't make it that day. But anyway, so yeah. So if I just break out and giggle, it's because he's fidgeting and bumping me or whatever. So anyway, so 3 weeks ago, I got a call at like 1:30 in the afternoon, and it was Mark. And typically he doesn't call me from work during the day, and so I thought it was really bizarre that my phone was ringing, and so I answered it, and he said, "Hey babe, I just got laid off." And my first reaction was, this is so not funny, right? Like, I thought we were secure.
Yeah, because that's my kind of joke, right?
Well, no,
there's a lot of things I joke about, but that's not one of them. We've already lost the house.
Right, yeah.
And
that's why I said it wasn't funny.
No.
You're
so
right.
I would not joke about that. I don't know what she was thinking, but that's not something I would joke about.
Right. But I thought he was joking because I thought we were secure. And so I was like, that is just so not funny. And I was sitting at the kitchen table, right? And this just happened a couple of weeks ago. So like, I remember everything that was going on. And I said, that's not funny. This isn't a funny joke. And he said, babe, I'm not joking. And I was like, yes, you are. And I was in this stage of denial, thinking that he was joking. And he said, no, seriously, like, I'm with Dylan, our son, right now. And he said, and he's driving me home. And immediately after that, I thought, oh, well, if he's with our son, Dylan, then I know it's a joke because, he and Dylan joke around so much. And he said, no, I'm serious. I'm on my way home. And as I was sitting at the table, I was looking out our slider window, and I saw all these birds flying around in the backyard, which was really kind of bizarre. And so as soon as I noticed the birds, I heard in an audible voice, I love you more than the birds. It's going to be okay. I love you more than the birds. I love you more than the birds. And it made me think of that verse of God saying, do I not take care of the sparrows and the lilies of the valley? You are my child. I'll take care of you. And so immediately I thought, okay, this is great. This is what we've been praying for. Because, and I want to
I wasn't praying to get laid off. I'm not I wasn't praying for that. She might have been, but I wasn't.
No. That doesn't sound right.
Dear God, please let us get laid off.
No, I wasn't saying like, dear God, please let us get laid off or anything like that. Because, who wants to come against that struggle, right? There are some times when we are standing at the edge of our valley and we know we're getting ready to walk into the valley, right? Everybody loves to be on the mountain. Being on the mountain, you can see everything and so on and so forth. But when you're standing at the edge of the valley and you're getting ready to step into the valley, that can be very scary. So I was not praying, hey, dear God, please let us get laid off or anything like that. However, we were praying to come back into ministry full time. We've been house parents at children's homes. We spent 2.5 years on mission out in the Southwest. And when we came back, it was hard to come back into the real world and step out of mission. And we
The
had been
physical world.
right. And we had been wounded while we were on mission. That's why we were coming home to lick our wounds. And there are so many times when life just hits you so real. And so here we are, and all of a sudden we are without a job. Mark had really been laid off, and we have a mortgage, we have children, we have grandchildren, we have vehicle payments, we have the whole 9 yards to pay for. And all of a sudden, Mark was again one of the people that got laid off in the economy. And it's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Right? I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 100 years. I know I look fabulous for my age. Thank you. But there was this moment of, okay, you're going to take care of us. We have been praying for this. We are going to get excited. We're going to get excited. He's just been laid off. We're going to get excited because this means, what's that look for, darling?
Oh, it's a little nuts.
Me?
Yes.
I'm a little nuts?
Yes.
Whatever. Anywho.
Hey, we got laid off. Woo!
It wasn't, yay, we got laid off. It was, yay, we're getting ready to see God move. And that's where it was. And that's the place where we needed to be, is coming into the valley and saying, hey, this, like, we see God every day. We do. I mean, he everybody does, right? Well, most people do. But have you ever noticed in the struggle, if you shift your perspective just a little bit, you see the bigger parts of God move. And that's where we are. And we're getting excited that we're going to see God move. And here we are coming back into this ministry. And one of the great things about it is not only do we get to share our experiences with you, but then God just opened the door to take care of us. And all of a sudden, our finances, I don't know how God does it, but he makes it happen. And he is taking care of us. And we're okay. And
At the rate we're going, we're not going to be rich. We're not moving into a bigger house. We're not getting a better car.
No.
But we may not lose a car. We may not
or
lose
a house. Right.
So, and we're going to eat. So
right.
those are all good things.
Right. They are. And it just puts us into this perspective of, okay, this is where we are. We have two choices. How are we going to look at this? Are we going to start to walk in fear and get scared? Or are we going to look at the brighter side of things? And so we started looking at the brighter side of things and getting excited about it and doing this video here. And I'm not saying that there haven't been moments where it's been like, what are we going to do? But then God says, I've got you. And we look over our shoulders, and the instinct is, because we lost our house the last time, and that was a very traumatic experience for our children. And
for us too.
For us as well, when the reality sets in, what do you do? What do you do? And so we just started the next day getting all these confirmations that it's like God was just calling us into ministry, and into this ministry, into Marriage Exposed. And so that's what we want to do. We want to talk about the harder parts of marriage, because we had to walk through some of these feelings, and we had to, in these feelings that are very difficult, we had to find faith. That looking over our shoulders, we know that God hasn't, what?
Well, you just said find faith looking over your shoulder, and
she's there she is.
Right there. Right there. Right
we
over
have
your
faith,
shoulder.
Right? Like, hope, faith.
Oh,
So looking over our shoulder, we have the opportunity to see the blessings that God has poured out in our life, in our past. And it's been hard. There are times, um, even in the last 3 weeks, where I've cried. I've cried because we don't know what to do. And then we come back to faith. But we want to talk about those hard moments. I think about some of the hard moments and feelings that you've been feeling. Like, and it puts strain on our marriage, but we're okay. Go ahead.
I can talk now.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
Okay.
Okay. I'll push pause.
Yeah, it's just very stressful when you're not sure where the next paycheck's coming from or how much the next paycheck is, and you see your bills piling up. It's just, it's it's scary. I mean, like we said, first time we got laid off, um, we lost our house. Um, we got laid off. We immediately started a cookie company. We sold cookies online, and by doing that, we made it through 6 months of bills and everything. But then the holidays were over, and you know what? New Year's, everybody has a diet, so cookies didn't sell. So we ended up having to find another house that we rented and watch that house disappear. Well, I mean, the house is still there. It's up the
Right.
street a couple blocks. Um,
But what about
know,
like some of the feelings that we experienced and some of the stress that we experienced this time 3 weeks ago?
well, it wasn't anywhere near as bad because, like we said, I mean, the first time um, we both believed that there was a God, a creator of some kind. We just didn't know anything about really, we didn't really know about Christ and his love. And, so that was something we found when we hit rock bottom. I mean, at one point I was thinking about running my car into a tree so we didn't have to deal with it. But then I realized that was a cowardly way out because then my family would be left with nothing. And my wife would have to take care of the kids and work. But we found God, and I remember I was in the living room of the house we were renting and dropped to my knees and just asked for guidance and forgiveness and His love. And um, it was like, I think the next day or 2 days later, I got a phone call from um, the church we were going to had a um, elementary school and middle school, and they were looking for a coach to coach girls basketball. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I've played basketball. I know how it works. So I went in for the interview, and they said, yeah, no, we don't think you can do the middle school girls, but the boys need a coach. And I'm like, okay. So I thought, all right, the church has been so good to us. I'll go ahead and volunteer my time. And they go, no, it's a paid position. Um, it was paid. It covered our utilities. So that was a big bonus. But then the crazy thing was, I didn't even realize it was a paid position until after I'd been coaching for a week. Um, got a check, and I was like, "What is this?" And that's when we found out it was a paid position. And like I said, it paid utilities. Um, but then there was a job fair an hour away, and I said, "Well, you know what? I got to go." We had to borrow money, so I could put gas in the gas tank and drive there. Got there, interviewed a couple companies, was hired on. This was on like a Wednesday or Thursday, and I started working again on that Monday. And so, I mean, it was just interesting that as soon as we found God, um, everything came into line. And since then, we've been following Him, and I mean, we've every once in a while we'll fall away and not do our Bible studies for the day and stuff like that. But I mean, we really work to stay on focus with Him, look for His signs during the day, look for His blessing, and it's everything from. I mean, like right now it's 65 degrees outside, and we've had snow for the last
3-4 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's been insane.
So we're finally starting to have some melt. So it's really, you can find God everywhere in everything. Big blessings, little blessings. And it's really amazing. And when you put your faith in Him and you follow Him, it's people say there isn't stress. That's not really true. But the stress is not the same as when you don't believe. It's as if you realize that it's in God's hand and He's going to see you through and you're going to be okay. So it's not that you don't worry, it's just that you put your worry in Him and you continue to work your way through and you try to listen to anything and everything He tells you so that you can continue on the path He has for you. And you have that assurance that you're not alone. And as a couple, it's really important to have that, because when one of us doubts, the other lifts us up, lifts the other one up. She lifts me up a lot. I try to lift her up, and we
You do.
help each other.
You do. I'm
Help
very blessed.
each other lift each other up,
Mm-hmm.
and God gives us that strength. And the idea that we have this amazing God that can create this world, and yet has an intimate individual relationship with each of us is just it's really amazing, and it's really really helpful to tap into that, because when you're connected with Him, it just doesn't seem as stressful. Not that you don't care, but it's like you have a partner who's going to help see you through, and it's really important and it's really helpful. So
It really is. It really is. And, I think it's important to remember that as a married couple, you're on the same team and you have got to have each other's backs. You have to. Do you need me to lift up my
No.
coffee? Oops. So you have to remember that you're on the same team. Nobody has your back like your spouse has your back. And that's how it should be. And you have to have your spouse's back too. When we get discouraged, we always encourage each other. You have to pay attention. Just like when you were dating and you were studying each other, you wanted to make each other happy, whatever the other one was going through, you always wanted to be there and encourage them. You wanted to be everything they needed. And that's so important now.
yeah, it's actually more important now because we sometimes tend to forget that, but it's really important because when you were dating, there wasn't the same type of stress and the same type of issues that there are now. We didn't have 7 kids then, so that wasn't the same. We didn't have a mortgage then. We each had our own car payments. We each took care of our own things. We weren't worried about the kids' future in the same way we are now. So all that adds to the stress. But when you have each other and you have each other's back and you have God watching over you and you connect with Him, the stress isn't exactly as bad as you think it is.
Right.
It's not really that bad. I mean, we're blessed. We're in the United States, greatest country on earth. We have more freedoms now than most other countries.
Yeah.
Even the poorest in this country are so much better off than some of the richer people in poor countries. I mean, we're just blessed in so many ways. Mm-hmm. And we just have to understand. We look at society now and everybody's a victim. Everybody's all worried about how you're going to be offended and everything. But you really look at the world and you're blessed to be here. You need to look at the blessings you have, the good things you have, anything from the health you have to being born in this country to having an education, to having the ability to go. And I mean, there are some countries where you can't even leave the town you're in because they have you scheduled to live and work in that town. You have the opportunity. If you live in New York and want to move to Texas, you can do that tomorrow. You live in Florida and want to move to Wyoming, you can do that tomorrow. The freedoms in this country are unreal. And that's all because of God's blessing. And we need to remember that instead of constantly saying, God bless America, we should be blessing God. I mean, that's a friend of ours said that, and that's true. It's something that we need to do. We need to turn our blessings back on him and thank him for the things that he's done for us and make him aware of the fact that we appreciate all he's done for us. I mean, there's just so much to be thankful for, you know?
There is. And I think especially, you know, in our marriages, I was at All Day today and I ran into this lady who had 5 kids. And and she said, like, she was talking to the cashier in the next line. And she said that the oldest one with her was 6. And I thought, wow, you have 5 under 6 years old. And I remember the blessing of that. And excuse me, but I also remember the struggle of it. I remember Mark coming home and I was ready to pull my hair out. And, you know, that was so long ago, but here we are and our kids are grown up, or mostly grown up.
Yeah, I remember that time. I'd come home and be like, how was your day? And her response was, well, the kids are still alive. I was like, okay, that means I need to kick into dad gear and mom has to go take a break.
Yeah. And see, and the struggles within a marriage are so real. They're so real. There are so many times when we were on separate pages, when we hadn't had time to have a date night or we hadn't had time to connect and just spend quality time together. And quality time together, not sitting there looking over your phones, right?
Well, sometimes we do that and it's fun. You know, we send memes back and forth, but most of the time you need to connect with each other.
Right.
And even
Undivided
with us,
attention.
Like, it can be reading the Bible together. It can be playing. She loves to play Phase 10. Just sitting there chit-chatting and playing a card game together.
Mm-hmm.
Game Sequence is another one that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Those are fun games that we like. I haven't got her into X-Wing the miniatures game yet, but I'm working on it. But, you know, there's certain things we can work on, you know, so.
But these things, and it is okay, you know, it's important for you to connect with your spouse. And it's okay to, at 8:00, to tell the kids, okay, you guys go to bed. Dad and I are having a date night. Maybe we can't go out because we don't have a babysitter or whatever it is, but you guys go to bed. I know the kids don't know this, but it's not going to kill them for them to go to bed an hour early so that you and your husband can reconnect. That's just, you know, with children, but
and one way to get that done is the day you're going to have a date night, wake them up when you get up. So they get up 2 to 3 hours early and they're tired at night. Because when you tell them to go to bed at 8:00 and they've only gotten, 6 or 7 hours of sleep instead of the 10 they need.
I know, right?
They're like, oh, good, I can go to sleep. I'm so tired.
Right. And then we spend
just
time.
Just a little helpful hint.
Right. And so then we spend time, and Mark and I will play a game together where we're face to face, and we'll tell the kids, don't come down. If you come down, unless it's an emergency, you're going to be grounded for a week, or I'm going to take away your phone for a week. Why? Is our punishment for them going to kill them? Absolutely not. But it's going to do amazing things for our marriage and reconnect. So play games together. You know, get a deck of cards and just say, you know, we're not going to be on the internet. We're not going to be on our phones. We're not going to watch TV. Let's sit down face to face and play a game together and be silly together and reconnect. That's a huge thing.
Sometimes movie night is nice.
But,
you know, you have dinner. One thing we like to do with the movie night though is we'll do a platter of crackers and some cheeses and some grapes and apples.
Yeah.
And we'll do that and we'll put that all together, and that's spending time together, putting the platter together. And then we sit down and watch a movie together. We do that once in a while. Not as much. Once every 6 or 7 dates we'll do that. But you know, sometimes we do that. That's more of a kids go upstairs to bed, mom and dad are having a quiet time on the couch type evening. But if you get your kids into youth group, perfect time for date night. Oh, that's a
great time for date night. We love to do date night. Drop our kids off at youth
Sunday
group.
night, they get dropped off at 5:30. Pick them up at 8. It gives us 2.5 hours to go out to dinner, to come home and play games, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the kids are being watched. It's cheap, free babysitting. And some of the youth groups, they even get pizza, so you don't even have to feed them.
Right. And if they don't have pizza at youth group, just let them eat when they come home.
Yeah.
Or have them take sandwiches or whatever it is. But it's important to be able to spend that time together and reconnect through talking with each other. I think that is a big thing. I know when we first started.
Oh, and on the children eating program, if cereal is not something they have every day for breakfast, you know, like you fix them eggs and all that stuff for breakfast. If you do not want to cook for them and you tell them they can have a bowl of cereal, it's like a super snack. They're super excited. It's great. Another little tip.
Oh yeah, that's great. Our
Just
kids love that. It's like, what's for dinner? Cereal. Enjoy. They get excited about it. You know, another one of the breakfasts, the dinners that they love is breakfast for dinner. If we make them pancakes and eggs and sausage, it's like some big treat. I think it's just the syrup and all the sugar, but you know, so be it. So it's important, it's important to connect as a couple so that everything else runs gently, right, in the family and stuff, so that when the hard times come, you're connected, you're standing back to back. It's like
yeah, if you guys aren't connected and the kids are giving you a hard time, the kids are going to pay for it too. So it's just not fair to them,
right,
and to each other. I mean, if you're connected, it's much easier.
right.
You know, you guys get along. And another thing with kids, I mean, this is just our observation with our time with all the kids we've dealt with. If I say no, she says no. If she says no, I say no. That way the kids, if they ever ask, hey, can I do this? Well, what did your mom say? Well, mom said no.
And then we always check with each other.
Yeah.
We always check with each other, because they may say, oh, well, mom said yes, which has happened to us. Oh, well, mom lets me do it. And then mom comes home and it's like, where's so-and-so?
Yeah, and then dad gets
oh,
in
they've
trouble.
done this. Well, not so much that you get in trouble, but boy, did the kids get in trouble.
Happened.
Right? So, so we just wanted to talk about that. We're going to do another video on working with the kids and stuff, but just this is what we want to convey right now. So this whole COVID thing has gone on for almost a year now. Marriages are struggling tremendously. If the marriage breaks, the family breaks. You have to understand that whether your kids are adults or whether your kids are little, the causes of divorce, the ripple effects of divorce extend further than you think. So if you are considering divorce, don't do it.
A marriage can last a lifetime. That's how it's supposed to last. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be times you don't like each other. But always keep the love. Always keep the faith. Always keep the respect for each other. We have been married and we've moved 9 times. Okay? You lose your house, guess what? There's houses all over the place.
All over.
If you lose your wife or your husband, it's very difficult to find another.
It is.
And it is very difficult to find that trust.
I thought you were going to go in a different direction with that.
Build that faith, build that trust.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just when you found someone that you want to dedicate your life to and you make that commitment, society has it where 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah.
And that's because they've convinced everybody that it's easy to get divorced. Well, legally it's easy to get divorced, but you're still left with a mess. You're left with kids with a broken house.
You're
left with, you're losing the house anyways. Just stay with your spouse and work it out. I mean, Jenna and I, we found even before we were Christian that the majority of our arguments were because of miscommunication. And before we found Christ, we used to cuss and curse at each other. We used to call each other names. That is not how a marriage should be. Mm-hmm. If you have a misunderstanding, if you have an issue with each other, talk about it, and talk about it civilly and quietly. And I tend to raise my voice when we're arguing or fighting.
When it gets
But
excited.
yeah, I also am finding that I'm a little harder of hearing than I used to be.
Is that
I
what
worked
it
on
is?
helicopters when I was young.
Yeah.
And I've been in boiler rooms and mechanical rooms for the last 20 years. So I think my hearing's going to a certain extent. I know my eyesight's going because I need to wear glasses, but not all the time. Just when I want to be able to drive without running into things and things like that. And also to read the fine print on Netflix and stuff like that. But that's another point. So, anyways, we just need to understand that when you make that commitment, you need to keep that commitment. It's so much easier and so much better to make that commitment to work on that relationship than it is to just throw it away and then be unhappy.
Yeah.
We've been together, like we said, 20 years. We still fuss and argue with each other, but we don't fight.
Yeah.
And you're gonna find, I mean, even now we're finding out that there were issues in her family and the way they thought of a marriage and my family and the way we thought of a marriage. We still finding things that kind of throw a wrench into our marriage. But it's not like it's going to destroy our marriage like it would have, at the beginning. Right. We survived all that. We've worked together. We understand now how to communicate. Mm-hmm. That's super important. Right. Just to be able to communicate with respect and love.
Mm-hmm. And being able to be vulnerable with each other. This is the person that you married, that you said you were going to spend your life with. And, I think a lot of people don't understand that when you say through thick and thin, the thick is thick and the thin is thin, like really thin. But what we want to say is don't get tricked into thinking that divorcing the person you're with is easier to deal with than working it out, because it's not. It's a trick, and it's always worth it to work it out. Don't ever make a decision to get divorced when you're angry at each other. Work it out. If you need counseling or anything like that, then seek that out. So, and you can always reach out to us. We have just become ministers, ordained. And we also have our doctors of divinity. So, and we've gone through certifications and for marriages and so on and so forth. So, feel free to reach out. You can always.
Plus, we have 17 years of actual, honest to goodness experience being married.
So, yeah, that part.
That's pretty good too.
But we're both relationship coaches as well. So, so you can reach out to us at our email, MarkAndJennaMission@gmail.com. You can comment below. We also have a Facebook page called Marriage Exposed. And we'll be talking about the hard stuff in marriage, the detailed, difficult things. So we want to encourage you to reach out to us. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the little bell in the corner. And then also share this video. Share this video. There are so many marriages that are struggling. And I know we had said before that it's 50% of marriages end in divorce, but I think right now, it's climbing towards 75%. And I know that there are a lot of people that are waiting for the courts to open back up so that they can go ahead and get their divorce. And divorce is never better. The grass is not greener on the other side. It just leaves broken hearts and a bigger mess to clean up that is very real and very devastating. So anyway, we will catch you in the next video. Have a great day.
God bless.
It'll stop right